Good morning, everyone. It's estimated more than 2 million people in the United States are living with hepatitis C. Now, new government data shows many patients are not getting treatment for the deadly but curable infection. Michael George has more.
It's been nearly a decade since breakthrough treatment for hepatitis C became available in the United States. Now, a new report from the CDC shows less than 1 in 3 people with health insurance get the antiviral treatment within a year of being diagnosed.
The treatment for hepatitis C that we have currently is highly effective. It can cure more than 95% of people who take it with just 8 to 12 weeks of oral-only treatment.
Without treatment, hepatitis C can lead to advanced liver disease, liver cancer, and even death. Experts say insurance restrictions may be part of the reason for low treatment rates. Treatment can cost tens of thousands of dollars.
We need to remove eligibility restrictions, burdensome prior authorization requirements, and ensure that individuals with hep C are accessing treatment in the settings where they receive care, like primary care offices and substance use disorder treatment centers.
New hepatitis C infections are increasing due to rising rates of injection drug use in the nation's opioid crisis. The new report shows treatment rates are lowest among adults under 40.
These treatment levels are particularly concerning because this group is the same group that we're seeing the highest rates of new infections.
The CDC says making sure everyone has access to treatment is critical for a person's health and to prevent new infections. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
It's estimated about 40% of people who have hepatitis C are unaware of their infection. The CDC recommends every adult get tested for hepatitis C at least one time in their lifetime. It is the sound of the season, football season. We take you to the band camp with the famous Maroon Band. Then we'll go up the road to Oxford when we come back. Welcome back. The famous Maroon Band at Mississippi State spent last week tuning up their fall numbers. Our Scott Martin caught up with some of the hundreds of members on the practice field that week.
The sounds echo across the Mississippi State campus.
Once you hear the band playing, the downbeat of the fanfare, it's just so surreal.
It's Kelsey Elmore's first year as drum major. However, she's no stranger to marching on the field.
It has been a lot hotter. I was in just the regular marcher last year, and it is extremely hot this year, way more hot than it was last year.
From 8:30 in the morning to 9 at night, the 386 people who make up the famous Maroon Band are working on their steps, music, and sets.
There'll be 4 or 5 different shows when you consider the video game show and 2 or 3 others during the season, plus our pregame show. So we try to do a variety of things to entertain the crowds at the football games.
One of the associate directors, Craig Arhu, says it's a big week with a lot of work.
It's obviously an exciting season here in the SEC, and so being a part of the game day atmosphere each week is something that we're really looking forward to.
Mississippi's spotty showers and hot temperatures have forced some plans to change so far this week. Some of the rain actually put them a little behind on getting in formation, putting steps to the music.
I would say it's been a little exhausting having to run back and forth from inside and outside because of the weather. But other than that, I feel like everyone's having fun and getting to know each other, especially with our new members coming in, having a great time.
In Starkville, I'm Scott Martin, WCBI News.
This isn't a slide.
Well, in most cases, you hear them before you see them. So now we're headed up to Oxford, and the big news for the band members at Ole Miss. The university committed more than $3 million to help the band get a practice field facility. Our Desmond Matthews, who's a former member of the band, talked to them and the band director about the excitement surrounding this season and seasons to come.
The pride of the South Marching Band has been a tradition of excellence since 1928. The band has grown over the years and the tunes have become fan favorites. In April of 2022, Chancellor Glenn Boyce announced that the university will commit $3.5 million to build a better practice field. That sparked interest all around the band hall.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I think state-of-the-art facilities are going to help it with recruiting, help the kids with keeping the energy up. Being able to have a one-to-one replica of what field we perform on Saturdays is going to help us just have that much higher of an execution level on Saturdays too.
Rehearsals are going to be a lot more consistent. We'll have to go out to the grass, wondering if it's mowed or not, looking for ant piles, having to respray all the time. The turf is going to offer a level of consistency.
I think another cool thing is going to be the observation deck, so we can also have like private areas that we can teach and do sectional work as well.
Associate Director for the Pride of the South, Randy Dale, says the new facility will also serve as a recruitment tool.
I think it'll be a huge factor in our recruiting efforts. When we typically have students here on campus, we show them all of our facility, pretty much except that one.
Dale says the band has practiced on this field since the mid-1990s. Construction is expected to start in September of this year with hopes of being done by August of 2023. The band will practice on the old field before construction starts, but after that,
we're just going to figure some things out. We've got some options that we're working on. We hope that maybe some of the athletics teams here at the university will be cooperative and share some space with us for a little while.
The full band starts practice on Sunday, and Dale says they will use the field as much as possible before the demolition process begins. Just like most of the band students, Dale knows the challenges that the old field brought, but by next year he expects a good look and even better performances.
Will allow us to practice even during or right after we've had some rain. Our current field doesn't allow for that because of the drainage problems and the flooding that we get. So we will be much more efficient with our work and our results.
Telling your story in Oxford, Desmond Matthews, WCBI News.
First chance to see the Pride of the South Marching Band this season will be September the 3rd. All right, coming up, making memories for families with their furry friends. One photographer's mission when we come back. All right, welcome back. Volunteers are hoping there will be a new beginning for 4,000 rescued beagles. Here's CBS's Manuel Borquez with that story.
Here we go.
They arrive here nervous, sometimes sick, often hungry, and always into new experiences.
Having their feet on the grass for the first time ever.
The first time
ever? The first time ever. These dogs have not touched a surface that hasn't been rubber since they were born. You're seeing them getting to run and hop. They've never done that before.
Sue Bell is executive director of Homeward Trails Adoption Center in Fairfax Station, Virginia. A code tattooed inside the dog's ears, a sad reminder of their recent past.
The puppies that were born, they would stay until a certain age and then be put in plastic crates and sent either by truck or by airplane to research facilities where they would then spend their life in a cage undergoing any number of medical or scientific research projects.
But the research company breeding them shut this operation down. Now, an army of workers and volunteers is helping the Humane Society move the dogs to shelters across the country. 4,000 beagles. As they arrive at Sue Bell's adoption center, so did the dog lovers like Aundrea Justice.
We don't need more dogs, we have 2, but we have plenty of room in our hearts and our house.
Another new experience, being part of a loving home. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Fairfax Station, Virginia.
The bond we share with our pets is really unlike any other relationship. One photographer has made it her mission to capture that unconditional love. Here's CBS's Janet Shamlian.
Hi, puppy. That's a good boy. These are the photos of her boxer, Boone, Kim Kempton will treasure forever.
That's wonderful right there.
Boone is terminally ill.
He's my child. He's my baby.
Photographer Lauren Smith Kennedy is taking the pictures free, as she has for other pet owners grappling with the heartbreak of a relationship coming to a close.
You want to capture those last moments, whether they're happy, whether they're sad, just for what they are, because that captures the true love.
These were her first photos of 4-year-old Lacey, who had cancer. After posting them online, an unexpected response.
Families from California, from out of the state, from Canada, all asking if they could travel to me or if I would fly to them to be able to do this. So the outreach was absolutely incredible.
In a matter of weeks?
In a matter of days.
Kennedy created this website with names of photographers willing to do the same. The Tilly Project is named for the cat Kennedy loved and then lost.
I know that grief, that heartbreaking, life-stopping, just earth-shattering grief.
For the animals we love, the gift of celebrating an unbreakable bond.
You can look back and say, I was feeling absolutely heartbroken, but man, was that a capture of my love.
Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Portland, Maine.
Lisa Bachner, along with her horse Milo, have become one of the most inspirational riding teams in the world of show jumping. David Begnaud shows us how they did it while overcoming impossible odds.
Have you ever seen someone on the back of a 1,200-pound horse jump a fence? Well, watch again. Because Lisa Bachner is doing it blind.
I do not see this fence at all until right now.
How much is getting to a jump and getting over it dependent on the horse taking you there?
98%.
Wow.
Her left eye is a prosthetic. As for the right eye,
what exactly can you see where?
I see my finger when it gets here,
Yep.
and then it disappears at here.
You see a little bit of light, but again, it's blurry. You can't make out quite what it is.
Right.
You can see color.
I see color very well. The minute I see that white fence with flowers and the green, I know I need my outside leg.
she invited us to her farm in Wellington, Florida, where she even gave me a chance to ride with her.
When did you start riding?
When I was 3.
She grew up at an equestrian center in Virginia that her mother owned. She's been a champion rider since the age of 5, when she was diagnosed with uveitis. That's a rare inflammatory eye disease, and it made school difficult.
Was childhood lonely for you?
No, I had horses.
It was her mother who encouraged her to follow her passion and ride.
Everything good in my life is because of my mother. My mother knew, as much as she wanted to keep me at home and keep me safe, she bought me a horse.
Bachner never doubted herself, but her fellow competitors did.
They were making fun of my riding, that I should stop. I remember looking away from them because I was crying. That was when I was determined to figure out how to do it, and better than anyone else.
Enter Milo, an inexperienced horse that Bachner's trainer found in Europe.
This horse walked off the trailer, and I looked at it and went, yuck. And I looked at this emaciated, mangy creature.
Milo needed somebody to believe in him, and Bachner did. Not only did Milo carry her over jumps, he guided her through the countless mental and emotional obstacles as they traveled the country together, competing and winning.
Where was Milo ranked in the country with you?
In 2004, we won the country.
I get the chills just listening to you say that.
Well, not only that, now I've got the chills. So we were so in tune with each other, and we went for 3 months where we didn't lose a class.
The pair's extraordinary bond is told in her book, Milo's Eyes. While she was at the top of her game, she says she misunderstood a conversation between her mother and stepfather that led her to think the competitions were costing too much money. So Bachner suddenly sold Milo.
I thought I was bleeding everyone dry. I wasn't contributing. It was a lot of money.
In hindsight, the decision to sell him was...
Worst decision of my life.
Because you'd lost more than a champion. You lost...
I had lost my best friend. I had lost my savior.
But 3.5 years later...
And I very quietly said, Milo.
Really?
And if horses could cry, I could feel his body heaving. I mean, of course, I was a mess. And I walked down. I said, I don't understand. And my mom said, I bought Milo back for you. I found him, and I bought him back for you. And I looked at her and I said, he's mine again? And she said, he's always been yours.
Together again, Milo carried Bachner to one more victory.
We walked in the ring, and they announced us. The entire Coliseum went silent.
Wow.
And hearing our name together. And so 3 classes, 100 people in each class, won every single one.
You did?
Mm-hmm. On this horse that was now 16, almost 17 years old.
That was their last hurrah before Milo died at the age of 17.
I knew the moment he was gone because I felt him go through me. It was awful.
Nothing will replace Milo.
Left here.
But Lisa may have found her next best partner.
This is a magnetic owned and shown by Lisa Bachner.
Now, with less than 5% of her eyesight remaining, she's putting her trust in a new horse she calls Mango.
Good job, Lisa.
Last month, we were there as she and Mango won first in their class at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala, Florida. Now 49 years old, Lissa Bachner is riding and she's writing with the intention of helping others.
To the people who will watch this and say, oh my gosh, I'm inspired by this woman, what would you say?
I would tell them I knew myself well enough to know that I could not exist without the horses, and that I had to find a way to continue to ride. There are people who don't give up and don't take no for an answer, and I did not do it myself. I had a lot of help, and I have no shame in saying that I asked for help, and I got it.
David Begno, CBS News.
And stay with us, mid-morning, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Warming ocean temperatures from climate change are causing the European green crab population on the East Coast to explode. Now a New England distillery is harvesting the invasive species for a new kind of whiskey. Elise Preston went to New Hampshire to give it a try.
We start with a good sniff.
At Tamworth Distilling in Mercantile, Will Robinson is introducing visitors to his small batch handcrafted whiskey infused with flavors from the ocean.
And what am I tasting?
You get the whiskey and then you get once you swallow it and you get it down, you get kind of some of the butteriness of the meat.
The meat comes from European green crabs, harvested along the New Hampshire coastline. The first batch of Robinson's Crab Trapper whiskey sold out shortly after hitting distillery shelves.
What has the response been like?
Insane.
The unusual whiskey crab pairing isn't just about flavor. Robinson is helping control the green crab population.
Their sheer numbers are kind of throwing things off, not leaving enough food for in one place in the ecosystem, and then just wreaking havoc in other ways.
The European green crab arrived on the East Coast about 200 years ago after hitchhiking on boats from overseas. Recent warming sea temperatures have caused the population to increase dramatically, and it's now one of the most invasive species in the U.S., threatening communities of oysters, clams, and mussels.
We don't get the really long, cold winters anymore, and so they can start mating and reproducing and doing all what they need to do earlier and longer.
Gabriella Brott with the New Hampshire Sea Grant says green crabs are tough to eat because they have a very hard shell and very little meat. She's working to find a way to identify when the green crab is about to shed its hard shell. A new soft shell means the whole crab can be eaten.
Get people a taste of a really good seafood product. We do a pretty good job eating down populations.
They're already on menus in New England and now in a whiskey.
It's an experience that brings about environmental awareness.
Awareness Robinson hopes will push others to deal with invasive species across the country. Elise Preston, CBS News, Tamworth, New Hampshire.
And Gabriella Bratt says there are trials underway to turn the green crabs into other products, including pet food and fertilizer. She says all the efforts being made in New England will help scientists control the growing population of invasive green crabs now seen on the West Coast. All right, listen to this. Fans of the Golden Girls, raise your hand. That would be me. Here's a fun story. The Golden Girls Kitchen pop-up is up and running in Beverly Hills. The TV show-themed dining attraction recreates scenes from the iconic show, which starred Betty White, B. Arthur, Rue McClanahan, and Estelle Getty. Derek Berry is the director of experiences at Bucket Listers. Berry and his team of about 45 recreated the kitchen and Blanche's bedroom. For a fixed fee, diners can enjoy Sophia's lasagna or a Miami-style Cuban sandwich. The pop-up will be open in Los Angeles until October of this year. Then it will move to Miami, Chicago, San Francisco, and New York City. So somebody book me a flight, because when I go to the restaurant, this is what I will wear. It's my new favorite shirt. I found this while out shopping a couple of weeks ago. I just had to have it. The Golden Girls really are queens. And we'll be right back to wrap things up. All right, we're back. When we talk about Hurricane Katrina, there are images that will always stand out. Devastating on the coast, flooding in the New Orleans, so much damage and loss. Now there is a new streaming drama series that looks at the final days inside a New Orleans hospital. Rick Damigella reports.
After we survived Hurricane Katrina,
We thought that we could survive anything.
Based on a true story, 5 Days at Memorial dramatizes the tragic events which befell a New Orleans hospital in the wake of Hurricane Katrina.
Start letting everybody in your unit know that there aren't any more National Guard trucks coming. They got through the hurricane with flying colors, and then the levees broke, and there was no plan for evacuating 2,000 people when there were 10 feet of fetid water surrounding the hospital.
There is nothing else to do for them except to make them comfortable.
So what are we talking about?
She is someone who just was determined to alleviate patient suffering, and she was one of the last doctors standing. That gave her the enormous responsibility of having to make some incredibly difficult decisions.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these rumors that we're going to start dumping people on the streets.
If you're telling a story that happened and playing a real character, I think there's a sense of kind of responsibility and just wanting it to be accurate, wanting it to reflect the truth.
This isn't a documentary. This is our interpretation of what went on. We don't make any judgments about what they did or whatever. That's up to you, the audience, to decide.
If you were given a choice between comforting a patient, possibly quickening his death, or abandoning patients to suffer a slow death, what would you choose to do?
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Wow, compelling stuff there. All right, we're all out of time. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day.